Hey guys, this is Brick Freak back today with a new video. I know I haven't posted in a while, but I've managed to make some time to edit this video together, and I know a lot of people on Instagram were asking for it. And today we're going to be editing this photo into this using Photoshop step by step. So stay tuned if you want to know how. So guys, before we start, I realized after recording this video that some of the pop-ups don't come up correctly on the Photoshop recording. So therefore, I'm going to try explain it as best I can. But when I say there's pop-ups, that means there'll be an extra thing on your screen, and I'll try to explain what you would actually see. Right guys, so once you've loaded up your image into Photoshop and ready to go, first you want to go to the options and select brightness and contrast. Then there'll be a pop-up with two sliders, one to adjust the contrast and one to adjust the brightness. You want to reduce the brightness and increase the contrast. This gives the image a more gloomy look, but also allows the colors to be more enhanced and stand out more. Once you have completed this, you want to go down and create a new layer by pressing this button. Once you have done this, you want to go over and choose the place where you want to create the glowing effect, and then choose the polygonal selection tool, and then you go around the outline of where you want to select. In this case, I had the visor, just clicking to create a new kind of side to the shape, and you go around the outline. You can zoom in or zoom out and then close off the loop to create a selection which will have that glowing effect. Once you've done this, you go on to edit, and there'll be a drop down with many options, but you want to select fill, which will create another pop-up, and in this pop-up there'll be another drop down which you need to select white. And once you've done this and press OK, the selection should fill completely with white. After this, you want to select the layer, and then you want to press Ctrl/Command-J to duplicate the layer. Once you've done this, you want to press the little eye to hide layer 1 before you double select layer 2, in which a pop-up will come up, and you want to select Convert to Smart Object. Once you've done this, again double click on the layer and it will take you to a new window. And once you've done this, you want to create a new layer. Drag this layer below the first layer before clicking Edit and Fill again, but then this time instead of white you want to select black. Press OK, and you'll see a black background appear underneath the white visor. Once you've done this, close the tab and press yes when it asks you to save it, and it will transfer over to your original image. Next, you want to select screen. This removes the black background and leaves just the white visor. Once you have done this, you want to select filter, and then a pop-up will come up. You want to select filter gallery and then field blur. Then it will take you to this window in which you adjust the slider in the top right, and this reduces or increases the blur, and you want to adjust it to around the same as the background image. Once you're happy, you can select OK, and it will take you back to the normal window. After this, you want to go down to the bottom right and click this symbol, and then a pop-up will come up, and you want to choose the option of color balance. Once you've done this, there'll be some sliders, and you want to slide the red slider all the way over to the right. Once you've done this, there will be a little button in the corner called the clip layer. You want to select that as shown on screen, and this will change all the layers from red to only the visor layer. Next, you want to move on to selecting both the color balance and the layer, and then pressing Ctrl/Command-J to duplicate the layers. Once duplicated, next go and select just the layer, and then you want to go back up to filter and select blur, not blur gallery. Then in the blur options, you want to select Gaussian blur. Once you've done this, a pop-up will come up, and you want to select about 5 Gaussian blur. Once you've done this, you want to select the color balance again, and again copy it, and then once they have been duplicated, you want to select the Gaussian blur option, and then it will come back up in the new duplicate, and you want to increase it slightly. You want to repeat this process several times, and this kind of increases the visor glow every time you duplicate and increase the blur. And then keep adding as many layers as you want to and duplicates until you've got the kind of the glow effect you want to have. Once you've completed these steps, you want to scroll down to your original layer and click the eye symbol again to reveal the layer again. Once doing this, you double click on the layer, and this brings up an options menu, and you want to select outer glow. There's also a color option here, so you need to select red, as you've already used red in this case. And once you've done this, you want to set the size to about 30 pixels and the opacity to 100%. Once you've done this, you right click on the layer, and after right clicking you select the option create layer before dragging the created layer above the original layer. Next, you repeat this process like the blur. You repeat it, increasing the size of the outer glow each time to make your visor look even crisper and sharper. Remember to drag each layer above the original layer. Once complete, you just hide the original layer and your visor is almost complete. The final steps for the visor first include scrolling down and up and selecting all the layers we've used so far. Once you have done this, selecting each and every layer, you want to click the little folder button in the bottom right corner, and that will group the layers together. After doing this, open the group again, and at the top you want to create a new layer. You then want to select the option of color dodge. After doing this, you want to go over and select the paintbrush tool. After selecting it, you want to go up and adjust the brush's settings. You want to set the opacity at around 74% and the flow at 1%. Adjust the size to how you need it for the size of your picture, and then all you're going to do is brush gently over the area where the glow would kind of reflect on the body, in this case, of the minifigure, to make it look more realistic, as if there's real light actually emitting from the visor, and therefore the body work of the minifigure is also lit up with red light. You give it just a nice good brush. You can change the opacity and the flow. You can also change the size. By changing the size, it just allows you to get more area, and then the more you brush, the harder the red color will come out, and the lighter you brush, obviously there'll be less hard color. Continue brushing and adjusting the color on your picture until you're happy with how the glow looks out and what the overall picture and image looks like. Obviously you can add more or less depending on the figure and what kind of mood you're going for, and well, after that your visor is complete. Now I'm going to show you how to create the flames of the flamethrower. First, you need an image. You need to get an image off the internet, preferably with a black/dark grey background, and obviously some nice coloured flames, the kind of design you want to go for. Once you've got it loaded into Photoshop ready, you want to adjust the size and position of the image so it's in a relatively similar position to how it will be in the end product. So in this case, I increased the size of the flames and adjusted it. After doing this, you want to go over and you want to change the settings to screen. This, as you can see, got rid of the black background. There is a slight haze left over, but that's because my background wasn't perfectly black and was more dark grey. Once you've adjusted it and moved it into position, you want to press Ctrl/Command L. This adjusts the levels of your image. First, you want to slide the very far left triangle that will come up in the pop-up towards the right, and this gets rid of the hazy background and makes your image more sharp and clear. And once you've done this, you can then just double click and then again press Command/Control T to adjust the image's position and size and get it adjusted to its final position that it will be in. The next step is to go down and select this symbol called the layer mask. Once selected, you want to go over to the paintbrush tool and select it again. And then again, you want to adjust its settings. You want the opacity at 100%. You want quite a small brush size, but it doesn't really matter as long as it's the right size for you. And then you want to also go and increase the flow to 100%. You must ensure the color is set as black, and you want to brush away any of the image that is kind of overlapping and looks a bit weird. Once you've done this, you want to go down and create a new layer before selecting a bluish color, and then you want to go back up to the opacity but reduce it by a lot. Still in the paintbrush tool, you kind of just want to create kind of the blue spark that's at the center of the flamethrower with the brush. Once you've done this, create another layer and select it again to color dodge. Again, reduce the flow to 1% and increase the opacity back up to 100. Go and adjust the color to another fiery orange color, and then just brush around the nozzle of the flamethrower and the rest of the image where again there would be a reflection of light from the flames. Again, giving it a more realistic look and makes your images look even better. The final step is to go down and select a new layer of color balance. Once you've done this, adjust the sliders how you want. I used red and yellow here to create an overall hue for the image. Make sure not to press the clipping button this time so that the whole image has this color. Once complete, the image is done. And here is the final product. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to click that subscribe button and the like button. And if you have any questions or queries, leave it in the comments or DM me on Instagram.